Welcome to episode 2 of Around the Shore. I'm Andrew Mason alongside Matt Doherty, and we are here to discuss lecture 2 that we had last week with Adam Himmelsbach from the Globe and the Celtics' own Jason Tatum. Matt, what's some initial reactions from them coming in?
Well, it was obviously a cool experience. You know, not many days you get to see an NBA player, but I think I think I learned a lot about that relationship between the player and the media.
Yeah.
And it's so important as a journalist. You know, you need to have that strong relationship. And with Adam, I learned a lot how he deals with the players and how you should treat the players, treat them like a human. And we said, you know, that's your thing. You know, I've always tried to do that, but put yourself in their shoes. And I think that was my biggest takeaway from the seminar.
Yeah, something like how Adam was talking about that, it almost brings up two sides of it. You don't want to disrespect the players at all, but in another case, you don't want to be starstruck. Like he said, the only time, I guess, was when he was covering the Wizards when he was super young, and it was Jordan's year when he was with Washington. You have to remember that these people are human too, right? You can't be overly critical to the point where you're just being straight disrespectful, but you also can't be fans of these celebrities. And remember what he said about the time where, like, you know, some people will talk, you know, probably a little too negative in their article, but then they're just keyboard warriors. They'll just hide and not come to practice.
You got to show up the next day.
Yeah, you got to show up the next day. That's just an extra level of respect.
And Adam's a beat writer, right? So he's not going to, you know, that's not even his job to criticize, but if he does, you know, like, you should be there. And also, you don't want, like, you want to do it at the right time. You don't just want to, you know, in this society with hot takes, you don't just want to blast someone to get views, because then it's going to hurt your relationship with the athlete for the future. Like, if Adam says something bad about Jason, you know, that could, like, and he keeps saying stuff and keeps trashing the player when it might not be a good reason to, then that's going to hurt his source. That's good. You know, Jason's not going to say things to him that he's going to say to other reporters. Then you're not going to get stories. So it's just so important to have that good relationship. You know, say the negative things when you need to, but, you know, form a relationship, talk to them, treat them like a human, like you said, and because you want that good, like, the good relationship is only going to help you in terms of your reporting and being a good journalist.
Yeah, and Matt, something with that is if you, let's say, blow a relationship with one player, chances are that whole locker room's gone. Perhaps that whole league. I mean, if it's a high-profile player and you do something big enough to upset multiple people, as a journalist, that's one of the worst things you can do.
So important, and you can't mess it up. Taylor, Nicole, let's hear your thoughts on the seminar.
Hi guys, I'm Nicole Erickson.
And I'm Taylor Ventries.
And, you know, going off of kind of what Matt and Andrew said, a big thing that Jason Tatum talked about was how he got interviewed by the media when he was in 4th and 5th grade. I mean, that's elementary school. I don't think, what were we learning back then? Like multiplication and subtraction and stuff like that. So what do you think about getting interviewed that young?
I think that's crazy. Like, I assumed that players would start getting looked at and kind of interviewed when they're in high school because they're being recruited for college. Yeah. I did not know that it went all the way back to 4th and 5th grade. Like, I think that's mind-blowing. And to know that a player is, like, that good when they're, how old are you in 5th grade?
5th grade, like what?
11,
12?
12. Like, that's crazy to me. Like, I just didn't know that.
Yeah. And I'm also surprised, you know, that their parents would let them get interviewed by the media at that age. I mean, you know, I know some people that are really protective. I mean, during that age, you have to sign a release form that says it's okay if we use pictures of your child online and things like that.
So interviewed by the media.
Interviewed by the media and putting their names out there for recruiters to see at such a young age.
Crazy. And also, what Jason said, like, well, was it Jason or was it Adam?
Yeah, I think it was Jason.
Like, it's easier to get coverage in the NBA because in college there's no pregame access to players, so you can't really interview them. But also in the NBA, some players don't even want to talk to you in the pregame because they're kind of like, they use the exam reference. It's like you don't want a lot of people around you before you're taking an exam. It's overwhelming, and so it's kind of difficult to get those interviews with players.
Yeah, and the other thing is, you know, coming from a student-athlete experience, I played softball for 2 years here at BU, and, you know, I'm definitely one of those people that I don't really want to talk to anyone before a game. I just need to get focused, you know, get all my things together, and, now looking at it from his perspective and kind of putting myself in his shoes, I can just totally see how it's so hard to talk to the media before a game. It's like, what are you going to do tonight that's better? It's like, I don't know. Like, I'm just trying to focus on my game.
Hope to do better.
Yeah, exactly.
But they did say Jason was a great interviewer before the game, so that's great.
Welcome back to Around the Shore. Andrew Mason alongside Matt Doherty with Nicole Erickson and Taylor Ventrice. Guys, before we wrap things up, last seminar we talked about 2 big flaws that reporters can do, and one of them was asking that lame question, that scapegoat question that a lot of people go to, and that was, of course, the tell me about it question, the talk about it. Adam said that was the worst question a reporter can use, and I agree with him. That's a lazy reporting right there.
It's a very lazy question. It's like you didn't do your research, you don't really know what you're talking about, you're kind of just asking the player to tell you, and you're not really doing your own job. Like, you're just relying on a player to give you the information. You're not.
All right, we talked about how important it is to have a good relationship with a player, but on top of that, you have to know how to be a good reporter with the players, and that's the cardinal rule right there. You don't say, can you talk about? And I don't know if you guys saw this. Remember, Frank actually mentioned this, but Russell Westbrook.
Oh yeah.
He talked about the defense, and he was like, no. So,
I mean,
if I was a reporter, I'd be like, all right, I'm done with that.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't even a question, right? It's like, talk about this play. It's like, okay, what are you supposed to talk about?
Right.
What happened? You know?
Yeah,
like,
it's not
You
really
could just
the
be
real
like,
question.
oh, I missed a shot. Like,
I missed a
okay,
shot.
That's not a good answer. Like, that's not the
I mean,
answer
it's a one-word question. Talk about this play. Yes.
Yeah.
Talk about this play. No.
Yeah.
Like, there's no real, there's no real depth to the question.
Can you?
Right.
Can
you?
you talk about it?
Yeah, can you talk about
No.
Something else that we talked about during the seminar is, as reporters, as journalists, we have to be prepared going into whatever topic, whatever sport, even if it's not sports. We have to be prepared on what it is. And Frank gave that story in the American Cup where that reporter that he had was unprepared. We got to see that clip.
We
I'm
love
interested.
you. We still love you.
And Jason Tatum said it himself. They can smell that from a mile away.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And I think, going off that, one of the good things that Adam Himmelsbach said was write and read as much as you can. One of the things I've definitely started doing now is reading a bunch of different reporters, see how they kind of ask questions and seeing how they kind of formulate their stories based on the questions that they ask in their interviews. And I think that's such a big thing. Yeah. Another thing is, it's great for us as students to be able to get that exposure to the student athletes here. One of those big things is asking personal questions. I know Adam Himmelsbach said kind of in a story with Isaiah Thomas and asking his friend rather than him about, those personal things, death of his sister. So I think, there's kind of a boundary that we need to learn do we cross it or do we not cross it? So, yeah.
All right, well, that is a wrap for Around the Shore, Episode 2. Andrew Mason with Matt Doherty, Nicole Erickson, and Taylor Ventrice. Tune in next time as we discuss women in sports. Thanks for watching.